Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And this is your horoscope for the full moon in Leo here on February 16th. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So up on the screen here is the transit of this full moon that we will see here in Leo on February 16th. And this will take place in our first nakshatra of Leo, which is Magha. Magha is the star of power. This is connected to royalty. This nakshatra is all about leadership, status, prominence. And this is known as having the power to leave the body, which we'll talk more about here as we go through this nakshatra. This is definitely a nakshatra that is connected to Ketu through the Vimshatori Dasha system, which really is pointing towards spirituality, pointing towards this connection that is in this nakshatra with ancestors' tradition. So all of this is coming in very strongly here, especially as this moon will be in the second quarter of Magha, which is a Taurus-controlled quarter here. So the energies of creativity, of tradition, of oral and written language, of the possessions and the material growth is all coming through this second quarter of Magha. Now, also along with this, we will see this moon in an aspect over with Jupiter. So Jupiter will sit here with the sun over in Aquarius. And for those of you who are following Western tropical astrology with those extra 3 planets, we will also see Neptune on the other side of this moon as well. So there's a lot going on here that is in terms of our growth, our spirituality, and connecting towards our higher purpose in life. This is huge coming into this full moon. And of course, a full moon is a time of release. It is a time of letting go. It's also a time of culmination, of completion, of wrapping things up, of getting some sort of abundance or result out of this. And so there's a huge effect of needing to make room, of clearing space, of letting go for this outcome to come in here. Now, we started this whole transit off with a new moon in Shravana, which was all about listening, learning, understanding. So there was a huge emphasis here that was on having faith and trusting in your intuition, allowing things to unfold as they're supposed to. And as we shift forward into this full moon, there is also a focus here that is on your faith and your ability to let go. This Magha nakshatra is considered to be the star of power, not because it is about controlling or holding some sort of power, but because it is about actually releasing and letting go. This nakshatra is hugely connected to spirituality once again, as this is all about tapping into your inner power, your inner strength. Having self-control is what makes this such a powerful nakshatra for leadership. Someone who can control themselves and manage their own sense of power is very powerful compared to someone who is out of control, who cannot control themselves, who cannot contain themselves. So there's a huge focus here that is on doing what is right and being traditional and how you are going to utilize this power. Are you using this in the correct way or not? Once again, this is connected to the power to leave the body, which is all about imagination, creativity, and spiritual connections. And as it sits here in this second quarter, it especially is showing these creative talents and abilities to create and manifest things into your reality. So this is a huge manifestation full moon that we're stepping into here with this Leo full moon in Magha. On the other end of this, in the opposition of Jupiter, Jupiter is sitting here in Aquarius, which is all about our wish fulfillment, our ability to move towards the results that we want to see take place in our lives. And of course, this is a bit of an uncomfortable position for Jupiter, as Jupiter would rather be in his sign of Pisces, which we will see later on as we move throughout this year. We will get this Jupiter and Pisces transit. But as Jupiter sits here in Aquarius, the focus is definitely on society and on doing service, doing for others and the community, the groups, the circles, the networks that we are attached to. This Jupiter energy in Aquarius takes a lot of faith. It is a bit of a gloomy energy because this Aquarius sign is controlled by Saturn, which is very serious, it's very heavy, and Saturn is connected to isolation. It is connected to depression and this very heavy realistic energy. So there is a gloominess to this, and this is a test of your faith to see, are you faithful in the possibilities? Are you faithful in where you are headed? Huge focus in terms of the manifestation and bringing your dreams to life with this full moon here in Magha. Once again, if you are following Western tropical astrology, or you're including those 3 extra planets, that Neptune on the other side also is talking about dreams and imagination, weaving things into reality. This Neptune energy is all about preserving things, which means the ability to transfer energy from one thing that is dying or being broken apart into the next thing. This idea that energy is never broken or destroyed. It is only changed. So this energy of Neptune is about keeping things alive by shifting the energy, shifting the vibration. The changing of form, this chameleon-like energy, is connected to Neptune. And so once again, this full moon becomes hugely about your ability to manifest and bring your dreams into existence. This is a very magical full moon that we're stepping into here in this Magha Nakshatra. And there is a huge focus on what routines, what traditions, what mantras, what techniques are you using in your life to make your dreams come to life. Right? When we have a routine, when we have something that is keeping us organized, that is keeping us disciplined, that is keeping us on task, this helps us to achieve our dreams. And so this is a huge nakshatra here of Magha that we're stepping into with this full moon, where is this a time where you need to let go of an old habit, of an old routine, of an old way of doing things that no longer serves you, and create a new technique, create a new hobby? This Leo energy is attached to the 5th house, which is connected to our daily mantras, our daily rituals, all of those religious and spiritual practices that we do on a day-to-day basis that keeps us in check with the things that need to be achieved and accomplished. This Leo energy is also about taking risk. It is about doing what you love, about taking that step to go out and create, to express yourself. And so this is huge in terms of what will you do? What room will you make for these dreams to come into existence? This is a huge time during this full moon in Magha to honor your ancestors, to honor your spirit guides, everyone who is on your team through the other side, everyone who is supporting your dream on the other side. This is a huge time of honoring this energy as you are stepping forward. There's a lot that is happening from behind the scenes that is making room for you to be able to manifest your dream, to be able to create what you want to see come to life at this time. For those of you with an Aries moon or Aries ascendant, this will be a full moon taking place here in your 5th house. This is a huge time of manifesting your dreams and desires. This full moon is urging you to be more creative and more open to taking on the things that you want to manifest at this time. Jupiter on the other end here in your 11th house is giving you great opportunities and bringing connections that can help you to wrap up a major project. For those of you with a Taurus moon or Taurus ascendant, this will be a full moon taking place in your 4th house. This is a major transit as this is happening in a Kendra for you. This can be a huge time of moving, of closing out old chapters in your life that no longer serve you. And so especially this could be a time of changing location. This could be a time of changing things within your home environment. Or this can be a huge time of releasing old habits that are no longer working for you. We do have this Jupiter that is sitting here on the opposite end in your 10th house, where there is a huge shift that is taking place in terms of your daily responsibilities and how you are managing this. The sun in there in that 10th house in conjunction with Jupiter, giving you a great opportunity for growth and advancement in your endeavors. So there's a lot here that needs to be changed and reevaluated in order for you to reap the benefits. For those of you with a Gemini moon or Gemini ascendant, this will be a full moon taking place in your 3rd house. And so this could be a time of moving or changing location with this transit here. This can also be a huge time of seeing some shifts and changes happening in your connection with your siblings, your neighbors, your local community. You can see some fluctuation in the connection with your siblings where there may be some ups and downs here. Some things that need to be settled and handled in this area of your connections. The moon in here definitely gives you a bit of a softer ability to communicate and get your point across to others. And this is a huge time to take on opportunities that you have been avoiding. This moon is urging you to complete any sort of projects or tasks that you have tried to pursue here with this full moon. On the opposite end, Jupiter is there in your 9th house. So once again, this is all about settling things that need to come to a close, settling all of your projects and all of your endeavors that you are trying to move towards. That 9th house especially is connected to teaching, to publication, to travel, to actually putting your voice out into the world. And so there is something huge here that needs to come to a closure. The sun in that 9th house also giving you a huge amount of leadership potential to actually get this point across and to make what needs to be heard said. For those of you with a Cancer moon or Cancer ascendant, this will be a full moon taking place here in your 2nd house, and huge because the moon is controlling your 1st house. This is a huge time where you can see some shifts and changes happening in your appearance, in your fashion sense, in the way that you are speaking and coming across to others. You can definitely have a huge shift and change in the way that you want to approach others. There's something here in your early family experience or dealing with finances, the things that are valuable to you that are coming to a close with this full moon. This is urging you to close out an old chapter that is no longer for you. And with this Jupiter here in the 8th house, this is pulling you deep into these areas where you need to see these major changes take place. Jupiter here with the sun in conjunction in this 8th house definitely can show expanding or changing in the way that you approach your family and close ones. This can be a huge time of settling old conflicts and bringing these areas to a close. This can also be a huge time of gaining some great advice and clarity that can help you in closing out these chapters. For those of you with a Leo moon or Leo ascendant, this is a major full moon as this is taking place in your 1st house of self. And so this is a huge time to clear out old chapters of your life entirely. This is controlling your entire chart as we have this full moon take place. And so this is a huge ending in your life as you are stepping into a brand new chapter here with this full moon. This especially is a time of clearing out old baggage that no longer serves you, as this moon is controlling your 12th house. There's some deep inner work to do that is involving the releasing and letting go of the things that no longer serve you. Jupiter sitting there with the sun is carrying a lot of heavy weight here that is centered around the things that you enjoy and are connected to. This can be a huge time of closing out chapters in terms of your experiences and the risk-taking or activities that you are involved in. And so this is a huge time of putting your ideas out and bringing these projects and decisions to a close. For those of you with a Virgo moon or Virgo ascendant, this is a very interesting full moon as this will be taking place back in your 12th house of endings and completions. This is a hidden house where this is all about clearing out things that are hidden away in the subconscious. This can be a huge time of puzzle pieces coming to a close that you are unaware of. This is a huge time of keeping a dream journal of meditation, as there's a lot that is happening from behind the scenes with this full moon. This sun and Jupiter taking place in your 6th house definitely is putting a huge focus here on your routine and the things that are happening within your daily life. And so this can definitely be a time of conflicts and issues in your life coming to a close. There are some puzzle pieces happening that are out of your awareness at this time. And this is huge in terms of anything that you are dealing with within your career and public life as well with this Jupiter influence. For those of you with a Libra moon or Libra ascendant, this will be a full moon taking place in your 11th house. This is a very positive full moon as this is in your 11th house of gains, where you can gain a lot from your efforts previously in your work and your day-to-day responsibilities. There's something big here that is coming to culmination as this takes place here in your 11th house. The moon especially controls your career. So the projects and the things that you have been working on, putting things together, are finally coming to completion here through this full moon. We have Jupiter and the sun that are in opposition here in the 5th house, where once again, this is all about wrapping up your projects and the things that you want to complete. For those of you who have been holding off projects and have been holding off these creative opportunities that you're trying to manifest at this time, this is asking you to finally take those steps to bring this to completion. For those of you with a Scorpio moon or Scorpio ascendant, this will be a full moon taking place in your 10th house. Major completions happening in the area of career, and this can only be positive as the moon is controlling your 9th house of prosperity. So this is a huge time of moving out those areas that no longer serve you in career. You can see major shifts taking place in this area. Sun and Jupiter on the other end of this is urging you to do what makes you happy, what brings you peace. And there's a lot here that is centered around the home experience and your happiness and peace of mind. So using your intelligence, your creativity, coming into this area of your accomplishments in this 10th house is huge. New responsibilities can come in with this shifting of this full moon. For those of you with a Sagittarius moon or Sagittarius ascendant, this will be a full moon taking place in your 9th house. And so this can be a major time of bringing your education to completion. Some sort of course that you are bringing to an end, to a close here. Any sort of classes or anything that you are seeking to learn. There's a huge focus here on bringing this to a completion and closing out these chapters to move forward in this area. This can also be a huge time with the Jupiter and the Sun there in that 3rd house of sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge that you have gained through your learning experience. And so this puts a huge spotlight on your education and the skills that you have been developing. For those of you with a Capricorn moon or Capricorn ascendant, this will be a full moon taking place in your 8th house. Very intense here, as this can create a lot of sudden shifts taking place in your life, dramatic changes that can change you at a deep psychological level. This full moon is bringing you to close with all of these issues and concerns that need to be healed and resolved from within. And so there's a lot here that you may not be ready to handle or deal with that is coming up to your attention through this 8th house. This can also create some major changes in your relationships and anything involving joint finances or where you are supporting others. This Jupiter Sun, especially happening in this 2nd house, can call you to stand up for other people who you are connected to. So you can feel a lot of responsibility and a lot that you have to take on family-wise at this time with this Sun-Jupiter connection. Of course, there's a lot here in terms of making sacrifices for others, as Jupiter controls that 12th house of your chart. So this is very karmic here, a lot that is being cleared and cleansed and removed that no longer serves you. This Jupiter Sun urging you to speak up and to stand up for what you value and believe in. For those of you with an Aquarius moon or Aquarius ascendant, this is a huge transit, as this will be a full moon taking place in your 7th house, a main house of your chart. You can see a lot of shifts and changes happening within your relationships. Some old people leaving and changing here in this area of connections, but this can also bring in some new people into your life as well. So you can see a lot of shifting and fluctuation happening here. This is urging you to connect to those who will serve your greatest good. So this can bring in a lot as far as romantic relationships, as far as business opportunities and dealings, and people who can support you at this time. This Sun Jupiter that is happening in your 1st house, urging you to increase your confidence and to express more. This Sun-Jupiter combo can definitely feel like a huge shift in your confidence, where you feel more expressive and more open at this time, drawing in more people through this full moon. For those of you with a Pisces moon or Pisces ascendant, this will be a full moon in your 6th house. Very interesting full moon taking place here. This can definitely feel like a heavy weight of responsibility coming into this full moon experience. A lot here, though, that is showing the completion of this work and how this can pay out for you. This can also be a huge time of having to shift your priorities. So definitely this is a time of paying attention to your health, of managing the time properly, and making sure that you are on par with all of your responsibilities and daily tasks. You can see some huge fluctuations taking place in this area. This could be a time where you see your health shift a little bit. So again, urging you to take care of all of these 6th house matters. We do have the Sun and Jupiter on the opposition back in your 12th house, which can take you back behind the scenes, out of the public eye, where you are more reclusive at this time, more focused on going inward and connecting spiritually. This can be a great time of meditation and inner reflection with this Sun-Jupiter combo. A lot here that can come up in your self-reflection and self-examination, as this sixth house is being controlled by the sun. And this is helping you in terms of your spirituality and purpose and growing in yourself and your path.